several people recommended, why don't you pick up a rental property? It's like having a child. It's a great place to dump money. You get write-offs, deductions.
Yeah.
That'll offset my high income. And then eventually it will turn into my first rental. I think I broke even. And then I think I started making like $50 a month, little gas money. But I had acquired the asset.
Okay.
And it was, at that time, it was doing what it was supposed to do.
Okay. Which
was help me deal with the taxes. Also, when I talked to my financial advisor, because I had to pull some money from the stock market.
So this was all from the termite company?
Yeah. So
you were killing the game with the termites?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
Well,
because people, they have no idea. They look around, they may turn their noses up and they may think they have no idea that, you can make that type of living.
But like anything, like you and I talked over the phone, you got to put the work in. And I was a ferocious worker. I mean, son, I was
sales skills off the Richter scale,
and working too. I was a working boss. I had the clipboard, I had the boots. I didn't sit out, so I was out every day working. And I loved working hard. I loved earning. I don't want to poop on the younger generations, but
no, yes, poop on the young generation.
I love working hard, but the bad part is my parents taught me to live below my means.
It sounds like it, because I'm thinking,
because I never made a lot of money, but I always tell people, look, if you make $80,000 a year and you live off of 50, that's $30,000 you can save and invest.
Oh.
So I started doing that from the very, very beginning. So it doesn't matter how little I was making. I always learned to put something on the side.
Okay.
Put something aside. And as my income increased, I kept my lifestyle the same. So even though my spending stayed the same, as my income increased, I kept saving that difference. Saving it, investing it, reinvesting it.
Like what kind of car were you driving?
So a good example of living below your means is if you can afford to buy an $80,000 car, I would buy a $45,000 car.
In cash?
Yeah. I've never had a car payment.
You are so good. You are so good.
I've never had a car.
Oh my goodness. So,
and then when the construction boom is on, the money's coming in, same thing. All my buddies were buying Porsches and fishing boats. I took my family on a trip, but I always kept saving that money. I rode so how I got to the bag. I rode the construction. You remember we coming out of the late 90s, right? Mid 90s interest rates were like 12-14%.
Yes.
People crying out about 7.75%.
That's what I'm saying. And when I bought my first house.
12.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
I rode that construction boom all the way up until the subprime meltdown in 07.
07, 08. Yep.
So 07, 08, 09.
Yep.
So then all my friends had to sell their mansions, they had to sell their yachts, and they had to sell their Porsches. Every now and then in history, real estate takes sharp dips.
Yeah, it's cyclical. It's up and down.
When 07 hit, prices dropped, and I picked up all that money I'd been hoarding and saving, investing.
Yes.
That's when I started to spend, and that's when I started picking up rentals.
Wow! And so by this, okay, so let's talk about the first one. So your CPA, and they were like, man, you got to do something with this money.
I found a realtor that would basically hold my hand and walk me through the process. I had a landlord mentor, Tracy Hargrave. Mentors
that keep coming up. We just heard that in the other segment, and how important mentors are. So I'm so glad that you mentioned that.
That's the camera, right?
That's your camera.
Mentors. You gotta have mentors. Anything you want to pursue in life, sports, academics, whatever, you have to find people that are higher up the food chain than you. And you have to hang around them. First of all, you have to earn their time.
Yes.
Because people like you and I, we don't like wasting our time and energy.
Because people just call you up and say, hey, I would like you to mentor me. And you're like,
No, you're a waste of time. You're a total waste of time.
You're like, you mean, can you assist me and help me achieve something that I'm trying to achieve and learn from me while we're doing that? That would be more of a better way to do that. Or you can hang around me and learn, but I don't have I'm not going to call you to tell you to come hang around
because
me. Yeah.
Because people like us, our free time is very, very limited. And we don't like to waste time and energy.
There's no time to waste.
There's no time to waste. So I found a good landlord mentor. She took me under. I earned her trust, and she helped me walk.
How'd you earn that? How'd you go about that? How did you find her?
I did everything she told me to do. I had a situation once where one of my training partners was getting divorced, and he was renting one of my places. He wanted to bring his dog in. My landlord mentor said, Charles, no pets, you'll be fine. And he was arguing his case, and I went to her to ask her, and I kept trying to argue my case, and she kept telling me, well, why, so finally I could see in her eyes, she was like, okay. She basically said, Charles, you're going to do what you're going to do anyhow. And we changed this. We talked about other stuff. We parted ways. And then months go by. I did exactly what she told me to do. I told him he couldn't have his dog in a crate, whatever. And then he vacated. And then I bumped into her later, and we're talking about our usual chit chat. And she goes, oh, by the way, what did you do with your buddy situation with the dog? I looked her in the eye and I said, I did exactly what you told me to do. And she looked, and I saw this little light bulb in the back of her eyes. Yes. Like this door open, like, oh, okay. Now I'm going to show you. Now we're going to get down to the meat. So I think in situations like that, I think I earned her time. Yes. And she basically, and some other people too. And when I work termite and pest control, I have all kinds of clients. Okay. Doctors, lawyers, brain surgeons, and a lot of them they had rentals. Okay. So I picked their brain. It's just little pieces here and there and stuff like that. And I managed all my rentals in Hawaii by myself up until the time I moved.
So you started buying the properties. And so what did that process look like? So of course you had the money, so you didn't have to go to the bank to get loans?
I always put a minimum of 20% down. Okay. Because you mortgage insurance and you buy your equity.
So you did use lenders?
Always.
Okay. You didn't, because cash is king. A lot of people, and so I was listening to Ramsey last night. Well, you know how that goes. And it's always like, I've had bankruptcy like 3 times. And because I was over leveraged in real estate. This is Ramsey himself. I know this only because I studied it in bankruptcy law area. But then they're like, pay this off, do cash. And I'm just like, I can see how that could work. But there was some advice that was given last night to this guy who had like all and I'm like, but cash is king. Like lenders want to know that you can service the debt. And so it's interesting that you went ahead and utilized.
Well, I think it's a combination of both.
Okay.
You come heavy with a big down payment.
Okay. Yeah, big down payment makes a difference.
Take advantage of the banks. As long as the numbers are there. There's something on, I think it's Instagram, one of those things, where he goes around asking like successful people. And one of the things I notice is that a lot of them say that they wish that when they were younger or they started their careers, they were more aggressive in borrowing money.
Leverage, basically.
A lot of them were very adverse to debt. And I noticed some of them have a common theme, like, man, when I was younger, if I knew what I knew, I would have borrowed more because I would have ended up, So I think we're both right. Cash is king, but good debt is still good debt. Just don't mistake good debt for bad debt. That's where it can get tricky. So to answer your question, I do both.